Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be expecting a nice day today, breezy in the afternoon with partly sunny skies. Temperature will approach 76, 1 degree shy of setting a record. For tonight, we're going to be expecting thickening clouds and even some spotty thunderstorms towards dawn, and those are going to continue into tomorrow. Some of the storms could bring with it some damaging winds. Low tonight 56, high 73 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
The following program is sponsored by the Medicine Center Pharmacies. You're listening to News Talk 1480 WHBC and Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Now, here's your host, Paul White.
Good morning and welcome to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I am your pharmacist, Paul White. We're glad you joined us. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Aultman Health System. Today, Brett and I are broadcasting from our administrative offices, and our special guest is Alan Bresson, physical therapist with Aultman Therapy Services at Aultman North. Good morning and welcome to the show, Alan.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We'd like to remind our listeners today that our program is available on our podcast. It can be downloaded from the App Store of your favorite podcast app. Just look for Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy, and please subscribe to our program. Aultman Therapy Services provides high-quality, dedicated care for all therapy and rehabilitation needs. The goal is to restore functional independence to each individual patient. Today we will be discussing Aultman's Back and Spine Center.
Morning, Alan again. Please tell us about your background and training, how long you have been practicing with Aultman.
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Stark County, over in Louisville. I completed my undergraduate degree and PT degree at the University of Toledo, where I attained my master's there. I moved back here after college, got married to my beautiful wife, had 3 kids, and been here ever since. I've been practicing physical therapy for 18 years. All 18 years have been with Aultman Health System, and all of them have been at Aultman North here in North Canton. We have such an amazing team here. They're skilled therapists, experienced. They truly care about getting their patients better. It really is a great environment, and I'm lucky to be a part of it. As far as the Back and Spine Center goes, I've always had a special interest in the spine and in treating the spine, getting people better. So as they were initially developing this program several years ago, I served kind of as a resource point for them and bounced some ideas about therapy, about the program. So once the program got up and running, they kind of put me in charge of kind of managing the day-to-day of the back and spine program.
So what are some of the common causes of back and neck injuries from winter and spring cleanup activities?
Yeah, so as most of us experience, those long winter months, we really tend to become much more sedentary, and as a result, get a lot weaker. We can get out of shape. So our bodies aren't used to and conditioned to doing heavy activity. Then all of a sudden, weather breaks, like a beautiful day like today. We go out and we just take on these huge tasks. It could be shoveling, dirt. Hopefully we're not shoveling snow anymore. But we're pushing a wheelbarrow full of, mulch, lifting, carrying, potting plants, and bending over repeatedly to pick up the sticks in the yard. So really any one of these activities that when our body's deconditioned can cause an injury of many different sorts. It's really just a bad combination of this. And so, the muscles that are actually doing the work can get strained and overused, but also our core muscles, the ones that support our spine, if those aren't strong, then everything kind of falls apart.
Everybody wants flowers, like now. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So what is it about shoveling snow or dirt that increases our risk of injury?
So as we all know, shoveling really puts our body in an awkward position for the back and neck. Our spine is flexed. We're in a bad posture. And then we're using a lot of force and repeatedly doing it, especially when we're digging into the ground. The material that we're usually shoveling is pretty heavy. This time of year, it could be wet dirt or sod, mulch. And then you have this long lever arm of the shovel, and it really puts our bodies at a mechanical disadvantage and something that is hard to overcome. So then you throw in the fact that we're twisting and throwing that dirt or wherever we want to place it, and it really is just a perfect storm for an injury.
I see people picking it up instead of pushing it.
Yeah,
With shovelfuls of it, and I'm thinking, oh my God, come on, you guys. You can easily push it out of the way. So,
right, exactly.
yeah.
So, what kind of back or neck injuries do you see as a result of the activities you just described? You got me thinking about whenever I'm like doing mulch or something now, and I'm thinking, okay, how do we do it right or
Right.
whatnot?
Yeah, I mean the most common injuries are muscle strains, and typically those are going to resolve themselves within a couple weeks or even a couple days.
Hmm.
But the more serious stuff that we're talking about is bulging or herniated disc from being bent over and having the force that we're using.
Yeah.
Those symptoms can send pain, numbness, tingling, things like that down the leg or even our arms if it's coming from our neck.
Hmm.
Other injuries that we think of could be if you have bone density issues, a loss of bone density like osteoporosis, even osteopenia. A lot of lifting and bending can even result in compression fractures. So we do see those occasionally this time of year. And really, if we have ice, if you are walking over uneven ground, up and down hills now, the risk for falls increases, and that can also cause some of these compression fractures that we see.
Hmm.
All right. So, do you have any tips then beyond what we should do to prevent? I mean, there's probably a way to prepare before you start to get into some of these strenuous activities. What do you suggest we do?
Right. Well, first of all, if you have certain medical conditions, you probably shouldn't be doing some of those activities anyway. Heart conditions, if you have a history of falls or fractures, it's definitely something you would want to check with your doctor to make sure that it's even safe to go out and do some of these activities. But if you are deemed safe and you can do those, then warming up is one of the things that we talk about. Having a certain stretching program, a little bit of exercise to get the heart going, get our muscles warmed up before we attempt some of these heavy things. One of the things we don't think about is having the proper equipment. If you go out and you're getting ready to wheelbarrow a load full of dirt and the tire is low on pressure, it's going to make that activity
Push
so
it
much
harder.
harder.
Yeah.
If the wheel is rusted, just things that we don't always check our equipment. We just go out and do it. Paul brought up a great point. If you're shoveling snow or shoveling something, trying to push the snow rather than lift it. If you do have to lift it, one of the biggest things that you can do is use your legs. The thigh muscles are one of the strongest points in our body. So, bend your knees a little bit, squat down, keep your back straight, and then kind of lift that load. It'll make it so much easier, and you're gonna really prevent an injury. A couple of the other things that you can do: collect smaller amounts of the dirt. You don't have to load up the entire shovel every time with a heavy dirt. So I know you want to get it done quicker, but probably doing smaller amounts is going to save your back a little bit. And then finally, if you just pace yourself, listen to your body. If you need to take a break, if your body's telling you that you're having pain, then listen to it. Stop for a little bit and try to spread that work out over the course of several hours or several days instead of doing it all in a short period of time.
We had enough snow this year that there were a couple opportunities that I recently invested in an Aura ring, and I had always had an Apple Watch, and I tried to track my exercise and stuff. But I was pretty fascinated by whether you're using the shovel doing snow or using the snow blower, how quick your heart rate gets going when you're doing that stuff. I mean, I was blown away, and I consider myself in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
So I think we underestimate, especially as we get older, what we're capable of.
Yeah.
And it is something to be mindful of, even though we all think we're tough and we can handle it. But, give yourself some grace and take your
Yeah,
time, right?
exactly. I remember, my grandfather, 90 years old, and he's up on the ladder in the spring clearing out his gutters. And,
Gosh.
it's like, Grandpa, what are you doing? I'm a physical therapist. I have to tell you this, but yeah, you really shouldn't be up there doing that. You can have somebody else do that for you. It's just
Oh, gosh.
sometimes that risk is not worth the reward.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
All right.
Well, we could probably take our first break.
Oh, maybe that or at least.
Yep.
Okay.
Time
Okay.
flies.
It is time for our first break. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
Are you tired of paying hundreds of dollars to find out your thyroid A1C? Money is awesome. Saving money on items you actually use? Fantastic. Hi, Paul White for the Half Off and Out by store in Louisville. If you think you'll find the same low prices, huge variety, or great customer service at any other store, you'd be wrong. Stop into our store in Louisville and see what great deals we have. Follow us on our Facebook page at Half Off Store to see super specials. Why pay full price? Come in and experience the Half Off and Out by store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Have you ever gone to the pharmacy and decided not to fill a prescription because of the price? This is pharmacist Paul White. If you have skipped filling a prescription or a dose because of the price, we have great news for you. We are introducing a new membership program with wholesale pricing on every generic medication. Memberships are $5 a month. For many of our customers, our wholesale pricing is even less than their copay. Visit our website, midshoprx.com, and use our price checker to find out the price of your medication. Great deals at Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to News Talk 1480 WHBC and Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Now, here's your host, Paul White.
Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Are you ready for vaccine season? Stop in or schedule your flu, pneumonia, COVID, or shingles vaccine at midshoprx.com.
All right, Alan, we've been talking a lot about injuries or how to prevent them. At what point do you need to consider being seen for the type of injury if you've incurred one?
Yeah. So if if you start to have that pain, and it is constant, it's worsening with time. If the pain starts radiating down your legs, your arms, if you have numbness, tingling, weakness in your arms or legs, those are definitely things that you should seek medical attention immediately. Shouldn't wait. A lot of times, muscle strains, like I said, will heal on their own over time within a few weeks. But if the pain keeps coming back or it's easily tweaked, then you should probably seek out some medical attention as well.
Mhm. Hmm. So now on that Aultman, what kind of options are there for those seeking medical care for back or neck
Right.
pain?
Yeah, you have your obvious ones. If it's something obviously severe in nature, you're probably talking emergency room, urgent care locations, which Aultman has a couple of. Um, Primary care physician groups, you can call them. I'm sure they will get you in quickly and try to help you. But the big reason that I'm on today is really to talk about the Aultman Back and Spine Center, to kind of skip some of those steps and try to get into a provider that can get you better very quickly, instead of kind of taking some of those extra steps.
So what is the Aultman Back and Spine Center?
Yeah, so it's really a program that connects all of the experts in the Aultman Health System that specialize in the back and spine. It can include physical therapists like myself, orthopedic doctors, the neurosurgery practice that we have, as well as even connecting the ER. This way, if somebody's suffering from back or neck pain, they can call one number. They will be guided as to where they need to go, what they need to do, and get the most appropriate help that they need right now, instead of trying to navigate the complicated medical system all by themselves.
So what is the driving force behind starting the Aultman Back and Spine Center?
Yeah, so it really had a lot to do with trying to get people the appropriate care at the appropriate time, and really try to keep healthcare costs lower for the patient. What we were seeing is there's this very high prevalence of acute back and neck pain in the population every year. And most of the people, like I said, are unfamiliar with navigating the medical system, and we're ending up getting care that they didn't necessarily need. So research was showing that nearly 90% of these acute cases can be resolved with more conservative treatment, including physical therapy. So early access to PT was found to keep the overall healthcare costs lower. So we decided to start this program in an effort to do that. Yeah, so we just want to try to get people back on track as soon as possible.
So where is it, the Aultman Back and Spine Center?
Yeah, so the name is kind of deceiving because it makes you think that it's in one spot, but it really is just the network of the entire Aultman Health System, condensed to one phone call. So we still, just like anything else with Aultman, as a community hospital, we try to keep the care local and close to you. So, if let's say you need care for your back or neck and you call this number, they will get you the care that you need as close to home as possible. So, we have 9 different outpatient physical therapy sites that you could go to. We have different orthopedic sites that you can go to. So, yeah, it's really not just one center. It really is just a phone call, and we kind of direct you to where you need to go.
In North Canton one?
Yep, North Canton, at Aultman North here. We have our biggest centers is here at North, Aultman Maslin, and then Aultman Tusk, which is right across the street from the hospital.
Sure. Okay. Used to be a drugstore.
Yeah, still looks like one.
Yeah. Okay.
So what about, I guess you have me thinking about a couple things. So do you suggest that someone with a back or neck injury call that number first, or is it still best to seek like an urgent care center or your primary care physician to see if it's that serious? I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. So
Yep, absolutely. So it's designed so that you call this number and you are in touch with what we call a clinical navigator. And this person is trained to look for some of the red flags. So they'll start talking to you about your symptoms, and they'll go over your health history. And if they see some of these red flags, then they will start to navigate you to the most appropriate place. Sometimes it is the ER. Sometimes it's the orthopedic or neurosurgeon. In a lot of cases, it is to physical therapy. Some of the red flags that, they are asking patients about that kind of dictate where they send people, is, shortness of breath, some of the heart attack symptoms, history of trauma. Are there radiating symptoms? Is there a loss of bowel or bladder control, which is an emergency? They kind of have this list of questions and can direct people that way. And if they do deem that as necessary as to go to the ER or go to one of those doctors, they set that up for you. They have a direct line to those people, and they'll get you scheduled. And the expectation is to get you in very quickly. So it's not something that if you need that higher level of care, you won't be waiting around.
So we've talked about a phone number to call a couple times. Probably ought to be sharing that number so we can make sure we share it with everyone.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So it's 330-363-BACK. So it's 2225. 363 back.
With all the maniac drivers around, is neck injuries one of your principal treatment areas?
It is. I would say low back is the highest, but we do see a lot of neck as well, not only from motor vehicle accidents, but as well from just our poor habits and our poor posture, especially with our phones, looking down for prolonged periods. So we've been seeing a lot more of that. And thankfully, some of those things we can correct pretty quickly and get people back in action.
I've had 3 rear end collisions in my lifetime. The last one was on the 12th Street and Market, which is considered one of the most dangerous intersections in the city. And a lady hit me. She was drinking a cup of coffee and on her phone. And then I got out of the car. I said, "Lady, what are you doing?" So, and I didn't require treatment on that. And I just thought, my God, lady, what are you doing?
Yeah. And sometimes you don't have the pain initially. Your adrenaline's going and things like that. It's usually the next day or two that it really gets worse.
For sure. Yeah.
So you mentioned that the navigator can be helpful to kind of triage patients and their issues. So what kind of cases might someone get referred to an orthopedic physician or a surgeon?
Yeah. So it's really based on those red flags again. If you call in and you tell the navigator, I have a history of cancer, I have pain constantly, they're more than likely going to get you to that specialist as soon as possible. The loss of bowel or bladder control, that is probably one of the biggest concerns that he sees, and that's an ER visit. That tells us that the spinal cord is being compromised and you're losing control there. So that is a big concern. Trauma, if there was a fall, then instead of coming to therapy, we need to get an X-ray. So he would be sending you more to an orthopedic. So just because the navigator, depending on where they triage you, you can still end up in any of one of those cases. So let's say they send you to physical therapy first. The physical therapist is going to do a very extensive evaluation on you, and they still have that option to send you to one of those specialists if they feel like a higher level of care is needed.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're close to news, so we probably ought to do news.
Okie dokie. All right. It is the bottom of the hour. Time for the news. Thanks for joining us this morning on Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
Saving money is awesome. Saving money on items you actually use? Fantastic. Hi, Paul White for the Half Off on Out by Store in Louisville. If you think you'll find the same low prices, huge variety, or great customer service at any other store, you'd be wrong. Stop into our store in Louisville and see what great deals we have. Follow us on our Facebook page at Half Off Store to see super specials. Why pay full price? Come in and experience the Half Off and Out by Store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy. The Medicine Center Pharmacies are now offering a service to help support your medication needs. We want to make sure that you have the medications you need when you need them. We will contact you 5 to 7 days in advance of your next medication refill to start the process each month. We will review your medications with you. We will contact your physician to initiate the process for refills and schedule a convenient day for pickup or home delivery. We simplify medication pickup into fewer pickups each month at the Medicine Center Pharmacies in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia. Are you frustrated with the cost of prescription drugs? By now you know that your insurance price isn't always the best price on your medication. The new Health Matters Drug Savings Plan is simple. Easy way to save money at your local Medicine Center Pharmacy. No need to visit a website or disclose your private information, fumble with your smartphone, or print out coupons. Just talk to one of our friendly staff members and ask for the best price. Medicine Center Pharmacy with locations in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, and online at medshoprx.com. Saving money is awesome. Saving money on items you actually use? Fantastic. Hi, Paul White for the Half Off and Out by Store in Louisville. If you think you'll find the same low prices, huge variety, or great customer service at any other store, you'd be wrong. Stop into our store in Louisville and see what great deals we have. Follow us on our Facebook page at Half Off Store to see super specials. Why pay full price? Come in and experience the Half Off and Out by Store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Have you ever gone to the pharmacy and decided not to fill a prescription because of the price? This is pharmacist Paul White. If you have skipped filling a prescription or a dose because of the price, we have great news for you. We are introducing a new membership program with wholesale pricing on every generic medication. Memberships are $5 a month. For many of our customers, our wholesale pricing is even less than their copay. Visit our website, medshoprx.com, and use our price checker to find out the price of your medication. Great deals at Medicine Center Pharmacy.
WHBC AM 10, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
A deadly crash in Cleveland on Wednesday took the lives of 4 teenagers, and officials say the car they were in was stolen. Police are hoping video of the moments leading up to that crash will help provide some answers. Surveillance video shows the car speeding down West 106. Driver suddenly swerves and crashes into a tree. The car split into several pieces. Police say that the vehicle involved was reported stolen back on February 27th. An investigation into what led to the crash is ongoing. Police say the victims were 2 14-year-olds, an 18-year-old, and a 19-year-old. Pope Francis marked the 12th anniversary of his papacy with positive medical updates 4 weeks into his hospitalization for double pneumonia. A chest X-ray confirmed improvements in Pope Francis's condition, with the latest medical bulletin stating that his overall condition remains stable but complex due to how fragile he is. The Vatican has not disclosed how the anniversary of his election as the 266th Pope will be commemorated, but masses are planned in his honor in Rome. Deliveries of the Tesla Cybertruck are on hold now due to reports of the trim becoming detached and flying off. Tesla service representatives are informing customers of a containment hold on their trucks to address quality issues before delivery. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be expecting partly sunny skies with a bit of a breeze this afternoon, high temperature hitting 76 degrees, and then spotty thunderstorms arrive very late overnight, and they'll continue tomorrow, and some could have damaging winds. Low tonight, 56, and then we'll see a high of 73. You can always get the latest weather news and forecast when and how you want it, wherever you are, by downloading our free AccuWeather app. I'm meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
You're listening to News Talk 1480 WHBC and Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Now, here's your host, Paul White.
That guy's right. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your host and pharmacist, Paul White. This morning, we are talking to Alan Bresson.
All right, Alan. I guess there's something we need to cover that I failed to do, and I apologize, I missed it. Let's talk about some year-round strategies people can do to prevent injuries, and also, get some exercise to make sure that you're in fit shape to do some of the things that we put our bodies through.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so year-round, strategies would prevent that weakening during the winter months. A lot of times my patients come in and during the summer months they're so active, and in the winter months they don't do anything. So I really encourage them to try to, it doesn't have to be an hour's worth every day of exercise. We're talking 15, maybe 20 minutes of just some exercises, and you don't need necessarily special equipment to do this stuff. Some of the best things that you can do is obviously to strengthen your core, strengthen your back extensors, and then your legs, and that would keep you conditioned to do those strenuous activities. Um, we talk a lot about body weight activities, and that's where you're cutting out all the expensive equipment. So some strengthening exercises like planks. Plank is a very difficult activity, but it can be modified for any level of fitness. Um, things like repeated sit to stand. One of the things I have my patients do, and they're always really surprised at how hard it is I have them sit and stand for 30 seconds as fast as they can do it. And by the end, they're breathing hard, their legs are tired, and they just got a good workout. So, as far as strengthening goes, walking it is very simple. So in the winter months, it's a little bit harder, but I tell my patients to go to the mall, and there's a really great group of people there usually that are walking the mall for exercise anyway.
Yeah.
Some other exercise programs you can do is a flexibility program. If you're not moving, you lose it. And, if you do a daily stretching program, it could be for common ones, hamstrings, your low back, things like that. The flexibility will be a lot better, and you'll be able to get into those positions to have good body mechanics as you do some of these activities.
It may be a little bit of a stretch, but building on everything you just said, we see a lot of patients now in the pharmacy that are on a weight loss journey for a variety of reasons. And I know that when we talk to patients and you say, get some exercise, I've changed my sentence to just get some movement, almost like you just did, because I feel like so many people, like, you say get some exercise, like, well, I don't want to go to the gym. I
Right.
don't want to be next to that person that's whatever grunting and whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of different types of gyms. I mean, you can use a walking path at one, or you can swim, or maybe you just walk on the treadmill, or you walk around the block, or you do it in your home and stretch. So you're right. I mean, if you just do something to move, right?
Yep.
It's just one of those things that you don't talk yourself out of it, I guess is all I'm saying. So.
Right. It doesn't have to, we think of exercise as this big, glorious thing that has to be done, and we have to put on a show. No, it really is as simple as movement. And, if you think about your day, especially in those winter months, if you take your ratio of the time that you're sitting versus the time that you're moving, it really is probably a lot higher on that sitting still. And that really does wear on our body over time. And I think you brought up a great point as well, talking about the pharmacy. Uh, you know, you talked about diet and exercise. Diet and exercise go hand in hand. You can exercise all you want, but if your diet is poor, then you're probably not going to see many gains from that exercise program. So, we talked about things you can do year long, a sustainable diet throughout the year, to keep yourself at a healthy weight, reduce inflammation in your body. All those things will go together with your overall health. And we all know that, if you're overweight, the strain on your muscles and spine especially are much greater.
Well, and since you opened the diet thing, I do have one comment, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Just don't underestimate what you consume on a daily basis and how it affects you. I have had literally a half a dozen patients in the last year who are consuming over a 2 liter of some carbonated beverage, like full on sugar every day.
Mm-hmm.
And just by eliminating that, they lost like 10 pounds. I mean, just
Yeah.
that. They didn't change what else they ate. They just cut out the pop. And
Yep.
you think you can live without it? Guess what? You can. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't need it. So just little changes like that, you're right. But get some movement and, think about what you consume, because drinking calories can really add up.
Oh,
So
for sure. I do a cleanse every year. It's a 30-day cleanse, but it just kind of gets me reset. And part of that cleanse is eliminating sugar. And I gained the interest of a couple people as I've done that. One being one of my aunts, and she suffers with some arthritis. And she cut out sugar. She couldn't believe the amount of reduction in the inflammation of her joints just by cutting that out.
yeah.
Wow. Very interesting.
So, we've talked about some injuries, we've talked about prevention. You talked about the Aultman Back and Spine Center, and how that your navigators can help people get to exactly where they need to get when they need to get there. So if a patient gets referred to someone like yourself, a physical therapist, is a doctor's order needed to do that, or what does that process look like?
Right. So when you call, and if you are referred to a physical therapist, we don't need a doctor's order. We have direct access in Ohio, and most people don't know this. We've had this for probably 20 years, that you can see a physical therapist without a doctor's order, and it's still covered by insurance. So yeah, no doctor's order is needed. We do have some laws that apply to us when we do see a direct access patient. We have to let your doctor know that we saw you within 5 days, and if for some reason you aren't getting better within 30 days, then we're obligated to get you in to see that doctor, refer you back to them.
So, what do PT evaluations and treatments typically consist of?
Yeah, so the first appointment with a physical therapist, you're going to go through a pretty thorough initial examination. We're checking everything from posture, range of motion, strength of many different muscles, sensation, reflexes. We're going to watch you walk, and check your flexibility. We also do special tests. These are, clinically studied and researched tests that help us figure out maybe what's going on. And then once we have that idea of what's going on, then we'll start doing the proper treatment. Those treatments can range from, most commonly, exercises, very specific exercises. And like we talked before, it's not a program that we want you doing an hour of exercise. We try to keep it within 8 to 10 exercises, because if we do any more than that, then people are overwhelmed and they don't do any. So a lot of exercise. We do manual treatments. Most people think of them as massages, but we call them soft tissue mobilization. We do joint mobilizations as well. We do modalities, which would be like ultrasound, electric stimulation, hot packs, cold packs. Some people may have heard of traction. We do that rarely. One of the newer treatment that really has been popular is dry needling.
Yeah.
And if you've never heard of that, the therapist uses acupuncture needles, but unlike acupuncture, which really goes into like trigger points, our therapists put the needle into the muscle directly that's affected. This needle really it initiates an anti-inflammatory process, a natural process of our body. Our body detects that there's an injury, and it goes to help. And so it sends in endorphins and other anti-inflammatory responses to that area. And so it allows our body to naturally heal.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
It's really come a long way.
It's amazing.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
How big is this needle? How long?
Oh, they're small. And I'm a runner occasionally, and Last year, my calves were getting so tight, and so I had one of my therapists try it. I was a little leery about it, but the needles are so thin, you really don't even feel it. I asked as she was doing it, I was like, "Is it in there yet?" And she said, "Yeah, you got about 3 needles." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But it really did help loosen up the muscle tissue, and I was able to get back to running pretty quickly.
Okay.
Well, you speak of trigger points. We've had physicians that'll order they'll order combinations of what we call a compounded topical gel for pain, and they'll put a couple different drugs in there with different mechanisms, like maybe it's like a ketoprofen or a lidocaine or even sometimes a cyclobenzaprine or something, and they'll have patients apply it to the trigger points. So just like your dry needling, and then you kind of target those areas that might be referred pain out to different parts of your body. So I think it's really fascinating.
Yeah, they even will use electric stimulation with the dry
Yeah.
needling while the needle's in. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Jeez. Okay. What about the joints? Okay, can you use this needling on the joints? Elbows, knees, whatever.
Right. You wouldn't go into the actual joint itself. You're going to stay within the muscle tissue.
Around it, around the joint, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You could go up to the joint, muscles that cross over joints. You can use it with, but yeah, the needle would never go deep enough to go into the actual joints, like into even the fingers or anything like that.
Yeah. I take it we're up to a break, right, Brad?
You are correct. Last one.
And it is time for the final break. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
Are you frustrated with the cost of prescription drugs? By now, you know that your insurance price isn't always the best price on your medication. The new Health Matters drug plan is a simple, easy way to save money at your local medicine center pharmacy. No need to visit GoodRx or Single Care, disclose your private information, or print out coupons. Just talk to one of our friendly staff members and ask for the best price. It is that easy. Medicine Center Pharmacy with locations in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, and online at medshoprx.com. Saving money is awesome. Saving money on items you actually use? Fantastic. Hi, Paul White for the Half Off on Out by Store in Louisville. If you think you'll find the same low prices, huge variety, or great customer service at any other store, you'd be wrong. Stop into our store in Louisville and see what great deals we have. Follow us on our Facebook page at Half Off Store to see super specials. Why pay full price? Come in and experience the Half Off on Out by Store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Saving money is awesome. Saving money on items you actually use? Fantastic. Hi, Paul White for the Half Off on Out by Store in Louisville. If you think you'll find the same low prices, huge variety, or great customer service at any other store, you'd be wrong. Stop into our store in Louisville and see what great deals we have. Follow us on our Facebook page at Half Off Store to see super specials. Why pay full price? Come in and experience the Half Off and Out by Store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy. The Medicine Center Pharmacies are now offering a service to help support your medication needs. We want to make sure that you have the medications you need when you need them. We will contact you 5 to 7 days in advance of your next medication refill to start the process each month. We will review your medications with you. We will contact your physician to initiate the process for refills and schedule a convenient day for pickup or home delivery. We simplify medication pickup into fewer pickups each month at the Medicine Center Pharmacies in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia. Have you ever gone to the pharmacy and decided not to fill a prescription because of the price? This is pharmacist Paul White. If you have skipped filling a prescription or a dose because of the price, we have great news for you. We are introducing a new membership program with wholesale pricing on every generic medication. Memberships are $5 a month. For many of our customers, our wholesale pricing is even less than their copay. Visit our website, medshoprx.com, and use our price checker to find out the price of your medication. Great deals at Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to News Talk 1480 WHBC and Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Now, here's your host, Paul White.
Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I am your pharmacist, Paul White. Thank you for joining us. Let's get back to the last segment of the show. So, how many centers of physical therapy sites are around the area?
We actually have 9. really have expanded quite a bit over the last even 10 years. We have North Canton, which I'm at currently. We have Massillon. Alliance is one of our newest ones. They're a big facility out there, very close to the hospital. Carrollton, Dover, Louisville, and Navarre are all of some of our smaller sites, but really are a linchpin for our outpatient therapy centers because they really bring those services close to home for those people. Without those services, people would be driving 20, 30 minutes to get to the next location. So we do have one in Orville. And like I said, we have one of our main centers, Aultman Tusk, which is known for their dizziness program, is right across the street from their hospital. All of our centers are on the same schedule. We're open Monday through Friday. We try to really have long hours for our patients, 7 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. Try to catch people before or after work. So yeah, we really got a great system, and really I can attest, and I'm biased, I understand, but we really have great people at every one of those locations. What a great team they have there.
Interesting. Okay, here's the major question of the day. Is physical therapy covered by insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. At Aultman, we accept most major insurance plans, commercial, Medicare, Medicaid plans. And then at each of the sites, we have a team of insurance specialists that they're ensuring that people are covered, making sure that we're getting the authorizations that the insurances are requiring. So yeah, we accept about anything.
So that requires a physician order, correct? For insurance.
It does. No, it does not. Nope. Like I said, with the direct access program, we by law do not need a doctor's order, and the insurance will still cover it.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
It's always interesting, the insurance nuances. It's such a challenge to navigate. So that's really good information. What about you mentioned and you gave us the phone number, which you should really do again for the Aultman Back and Spine Center. And then what time range can someone call that number?
Right.
When's it open?
Yeah. So the phone number for the back and spine program is 330-363-2225. And you can call that number Monday through Friday, anytime from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And our navigators sitting there waiting by the phone, ready to answer your call. If for some reason that person is on the phone with another client, or if it's outside of those hours, we do have voicemail set up. And the next day, as soon as that navigator comes in, they will be on the phone, listening to the messages and calling back whoever called over the night.
Okay. Well, I wondered, since we are blessed with warmer weather today, or at least the promise of, what can you share with listeners to get yourself set up to be successful as you decide to venture out into the yard, maybe, or starting to do some more physical activity after coming out of our sheltered winter
Right.
layers for the season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I kind of wanted to impress today was, take your time, make sure you're warming up, kind of getting your blood pumping. You don't have to do all these projects within the first day or two that spring hits. Taking the load of the weight and spreading it out over a longer course of time is going to be setting you up for more success. We can always be better with our posture. We can always be better with our body mechanics. Those are things that, even myself, I preach it all day, every day, and I can still be better at doing it to prevent an injury. So, yeah, I think we can all look at ourselves and try to do something better today or this season to really try to prevent from ending up with an injury. Because if you've ever been, through the process of an injury and getting treated for it, it really it is a time sucker. It really is time consuming. It's costly and it's not fun.
So you gave us tips about getting out and getting physical, but can you comment? We have a couple minutes. Do you have some comments on people that maybe sit at a desk all day or are looking at a computer screen all day? And maybe, you've mentioned posture a couple times.
Yeah.
And my wife was a dancer and is perfect ramrod straight sit up. And I find myself hunching sometimes, even like I am now. And I'm like, oh, I got to do better. So what can we do to have better posture and set ourselves up for success if we're at a desk or using computers all day and not necessarily shoveling stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I think a great start is having a good ergonomic chair, one that has a lumbar roll that you can either attach or one that's built in. A lumbar roll will change your entire posture, um, throughout the day, and not only your back posture, but if you ever are slouched and you sit up a little bit, automatically your neck is in a better position. So the lumbar roll is really key. Uh, Using the lumbar roll correctly is actually an issue because people will sit forward in their chair. But if you push your bottom all the way back in the back of the chair and then stick a roll in there, it's going to be much more effective. And then finally, if you're looking at a computer screen all day, having that computer screen at a proper height really can have a profound effect on your neck. If you're looking down all the time, that bowling ball on top of your head is shifted forward, and it really causes your neck to strain a lot more than what it needs to be. You want that spine to be stacked straight over it, so you don't have to use the muscles around it quite as much.
Okay, I'm a shade older than you are, but I remember John F. Kennedy hurt his back during the war in a PT boat, and he had to have a rocking chair, and he sat in a rocking chair with much comfort, I guess.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah, it's if you think about the couches and recliners that we sit in, they suck you in and you end up in this very rounded posture. With a rocking chair, if you try to do that, it's not very comfortable. So it's a rocking chair is going to be a lot more comfortable if you're sitting up straight. So it really it's not letting you get into that poor posture.
Okay, that's interesting. I've got a rocking chair and a lazy boy chair. Okay.
Mhm.
I actually think that the rocking chair is somewhat more useful. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, if certain recliners are hard to get out of, and
Yeah.
it's because you're so far back and you're so rounded. Whereas when your posture is already good in a sitting position, getting up is a lot easier.
Hmm. And the electric lift chairs that a lot of older folks have.
Hmm.
Good, bad, or what?
Um, it is good if it allows people to stay independent. If you're depending on that every single time, your muscles aren't working. And so you're going to get weaker and you're going to start relying on that every single time. So, if you're using them, it's not a bad thing. But, use them sparingly, use them only when you need it the most. And in those times you don't need it, try to work on doing that activity repeatedly so you get stronger at doing it. Maybe if it's too low, then you find a surface that's a little bit higher and you repeat sitting and standing from that higher surface where you're successful and you can get stronger there.
Sure. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, how about just one last comment on how to get in touch with you and your team and the Back Center and to set yourself up for success in healthy living?
Yeah. So if you have an injury, God forbid, this spring season, as you're out doing your yard work, give our navigator a call at the Back and Spine Center at 330-363-2225. Um, you know, just continue to use those good body mechanics, pace yourself, and use your legs. Don't bend over and try to lift this stuff with poor posture.
Okay, I guess we're out of time, Brad, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you to our guest, Alan Bresson. If you suspect you have a medical issue, please contact your healthcare provider. Thanks to Aultman Health System and our listeners for joining us with Health Matters and the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Have a healthy week, and we'll see you again next Friday, right here on News Talk 1480 WHBC. Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it and learned. We always learn something, and a lot of stuff from all our guests. Okay.
Good.
So,
Yeah, I want to thank you guys. You guys have been doing this a long time, and it is important for the community and trying to stay healthy. So
thank you.
Yep.